Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bolton from Bolton. This is the show where my brother Josh and I set each other up for lively hockey talk and banter. We're currently in the middle of our 2020 Stanley Cup playoff series where we're working overtime to cover all the action. And Josh, right away, you're like, keep looking at this game. What's going on?
It's right now. Currently, it is the third period of St. Louis Vegas. It is absolutely bananas what's been happening in this game. Uh, it's I don't know if you want to know the score, but
You can tell me this one.
all right, it's 5-4 for Vegas, but it was 3-1 St. Louis, and then Vegas came back and tied it, and then St. Louis scored. It's been back and forth. It's been very back and forth. There's been a controversial offside goal for Vegas, and there was a hand covering the puck in the crease that was thrown, and no call for a penalty shot, and the shots on goal. This is the
Penalty
biggest
shots.
one.
And we keep going, yeah.
Vegas is out shooting St. Louis like 37-13 or something like that.
And the
it's
score is what? 5-4?
5-4.
4 goals on 13 shots?
It's nuts, man.
Well, I guess the goalies had no chance today or something like that. What's going on with these?
I guess so.
Man, who's in goal for who? I get confused already. Who's doing what? Because in your whole story there, I just don't have it in front of me. But well, yeah. Anyway, so pretty wild.
It's crazy, yeah. Fleury is in goal for Vegas, and on one goal, he was like, "There's a screen grab, someone of the screen. Fleury's like off in the face-off circle, and the puck is like in the corner, and someone passed it out. It was like almost like he got like the video. He was a video game, and his controller got unhooked or something. He was just sitting out there like, "What's happening?"
He's been in those positions sometimes before where he just had to fly across to think he has to make, this is the save I got to make. And he flies across and then he's just gone. I mean, I can understand that sometimes. I don't know how this one went. Man, I'll tell you, yeah.
I just have to tear myself away.
Tear yourself away. We got work to do. People are counting on us for the the best analytics in sports. No, I mean, anyway, but they count on us to be focused here on our job. We're hopefully people are enjoying following this during the playoffs. It's just fun to talk about with you, and that's what I hope comes across here when we're there. I hope people get involved and tell us what you're thinking about the playoffs too, so we can comment on that. Now, what happens here is I'm in Korea, and I get up and the games are on in the morning. Well, they're on overnight, so I wake up to some that are finished, and then some of the later games are going to start in my morning. So I don't usually really sit down to any of it until after I get all my work done in the morning and this kind of thing. So I am not aware of that game, and not aware of some others. I guess the Leafs are in the middle of their first period probably now, maybe the end of that. I'm not sure. I don't want to know. But you see that he asked me about the Vegas and Dallas game. Was it Vegas and Dallas?
St. Louis.
Yeah. Oh, St. Louis. Sorry. You see, and that maybe brings up. Maybe I'll jump to that point too. Who cares about this reseeding? Is what I want to say. What does anybody care about these games? You mentioned last time you were on Twitter and you said sorry about you commented on the Kadri goal and you apologized to a couple of your followers, St. Louis fans, especially one guy seemed, you said, sorry, man, tough break. He's, I don't really care. It's just receding. So, we're fine. And that's what I've kind of found too. Like certainly of all the games I'm looking forward to, I'm not trying to watch the reseeding games in full. Like that's a highlight package for me. I'm going, okay, I'll catch up on those just on the highlights. That's cool. And then I'll go watch other games. I'm not saying it's not great hockey. I'm not saying it's not important. We talked about reseeding last time, how they might get reseeded, and it might, work out for better or worse for you, but it is something for them. But I also just thought, like, what does it mean to the players themselves? Are they that upset about it? Like, is Boston upset that they've lost the first two games? Like, they're probably not happy about it, but I mean, really, they're gearing up for the playoffs. And I wonder if these teams are using it and they're kind of, they're getting intense games. But here's what I'm wondering. How's it going to go for them in the next round? Is it going to be better for them, or the playoff team is going to be better off? So there's one part where you would say they're going to be more refreshed because they haven't had that mental drain of this is do or die here, and other teams have when they're in a game that they bound to come back and they come up short or they win, and it takes a lot out of you. So are they like more refreshed when they come as like, this is our first series and and the other team's been kind of just lost a little bit of that thing? Or is it that they're already playoff focused and then these other teams come in and have their round robin and then are kind of not really playoff locked in? What would you think?
Well, you would have thought it would almost be a disadvantage because those top four seeds have to play each other. And when you're talking about a game between like Boston and Washington or Tampa Bay and Washington or Bob, like these teams are physical, they are nasty, they're tough to play against. And the fifth seeds are supposed to have kind of an easy ride, just to kind of token warm up against 12 seeds. But that isn't working out so well for them now, is it?
It is not working out. Well, maybe that'll bring us into the next one. I wanted to go to the Pittsburgh and Montreal series. For me, obviously, I know more about the Pittsburgh and Montreal series, and also more. I think it's one of the biggest stories going on anyway. The Habs are up 2-1 on the Pens. What is going on, Josh, in general? And then, give me a start.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to go back to the same point. In general, I think Montreal's doing everything that they need to do. They're being very patient, and they're not making the big mistakes. So that they're playing very smart, very sort of quiet hockey almost in a way. They just sort of are like Rocky Balboa, and you got Clubber pounding away on him, and he's just like, you ain't so bad. And Pittsburgh, the power play is sucking and all that, and can't quite get it done. And then Montreal's just like, oh, you're all tired and done now? Are you upset? Oh, I'll just come over and push you over now. And that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll also have a little more to say on what would I expect going forward. But I telling you, last show, you brought it up. Jack Johnson. I loved your what you said about it. And then it was like it started me focusing on him. And then you and I actually got a chance at that game to be texting during the game. We haven't got to do that much because of when I'm watching the games. And you kept pointing it out to me, and I kept seeing more. Jack Johnson, oh my! And there was so much stuff about it. People were posting on Twitter. Tell me, give me the Jack lowdown.
What is it? There was 4 goals for Montreal last night. He was on the ice for 3 of them, and not just on the ice for them. He turned the puck over at the blue line for the first one. Now he tried to skate back and be the hero, tie his guy up in front, but he skated past 2 other people to do it. Didn't work out. They got a goal. That one goal we looked at, I don't remember if it was the third one or not, but he was tying some guy up in front, and he actually left that guy to go try and get another guy. And then while he was between the 2 guys, the puck went to the original guy, and he scored the goal. And Schultz come over trying to save the day, but he couldn't quite get there in time. Like, there was that one time.
Is it a fresh one or is it that one? Just on that one. I mean, I wonder, you say Schultz came to try to save the day. I thought it was like, where was Schultz? There was 2 guys in front. You got 2D. There's nobody on him. He's on this guy. Then the point shots come in. There's this dangerous guy in front to tip and do whatever he wants. He went to try to get him, and then it went back door. And then Schultz came at the end and tried to get him. And it was like, Schultz, where were you, buddy? Like
trying to save the day facetiously. He's not really doing a whole lot better. But Jack Johnson's got to be a hard guy to play with. In the first game, he was in the corner when they were both in the same corner, I was saying, when they scored the goal. He's been on for all but like 3 of Montreal's goals for the entire series. Mm-hmm. And Jesse Marshall, great guy at the Pittsburgh Athletic, like he's awesome. And he just pointed out, like he's just pointing out all the numbers. And he's not trying to sway them. He's very good, very non-biased. He just tells you the numbers, and then you interpret them the way you want. And his numbers show Jack Johnson as being horrific. And his conclusion was that he shouldn't dress for any game ever in the rest of the series or the rest of the Pittsburgh Penguins like organization history, basically, because he does not help them.
Yeah, I wasn't all on the for the eternity or whatever camp, but I did notice that I was feeling very nervous when he was on the ice after paying more attention to him. And I would certainly say for the next game and for this series, unless I don't even, if it's just a thing about him in general, because I remember there was some stuff like criticism last year about him as well, even when they signed him and all the while. And it is true, we got to give him a little bit of something. Chris Letang was defending him last year and stuff and saying, he does what other guys don't do. Nobody on our team does what he does, the shot blocks and all this stuff. And he's a big horse and all that. I know. Yeah. Whatever you say.
Nobody
and then, of course,
in the league does what he does. There's a reason for that.
And let me say too, he's Sid's friend way back at Shattuck St. Mary's days and they're buddies and all that. So I feel kind of bad ripping on the guy, right? Because, I thought when they first signed him for, $3 million a season, essentially, I was like, well, it seems pretty good. He was like a top D on Columbus at one point, and then you get him as a lower end guy. Like $3 million is not one of your top guys. So I thought that was good, but it's looking bad right now. And I wonder if Mike Sullivan can see it, because can somebody get me the righty, get Chad Ruedel up in here. Jack, give me the ball. You're out. You know what I mean? I'm going analogies here, baseball, but like, I'll take Chad Ruedel. I'll get somebody else in there, right? I can't. It's scaring me. And
this
could be the end of the playoffs for them.
Sullivan scratched Jared McCann because he wasn't happy with what he saw. So he's not against scratching people that aren't up to snuff. So
Certainly
I don't know
not. Yeah, I thought McCann was going to be a big player for them, and then he wasn't. Oh, yeah. He wasn't so far, and it's true. He's right to scratch him.
And it's not, but that's just for a couple of games. Like, McCann's a good player. Jack Johnson is a good player too. I mean, he's in the NHL for a reason, but it has been all season long. He is just, I sent you that message after the game. I think he gets paid by the turnover. and if you work out his salary, that can't be that far from the truth.
Yeah, he may be somewhere close. All right, well, let's get off ripping off Jack, but I mean, it is something to pay attention to. I'm really curious to see if he'll dress, because it really is a thing. It was the number one. You said it was, you showed me a tweet. It was like the number one trending topic on Twitter was Jack Johnson at one point. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it wasn't just you telling me and me going, oh yeah, I think you're right. Like, people were talking about it. So if Mike Sullivan doesn't pick up on that, I don't know, man. We'll see. As far as other things, let's give Montreal their credit. You already did give them their credit. I was saying to you beforehand, I was like, had a feeling that, you get Gino with no goals. I don't get too big on this stuff after, like, these series are 2 games. If a guy goes 2 games in a row without scoring in real life, you just kind of, that's nothing. But playoffs, everything's magnified. But it's true that not everybody can score at their regular rate, or else you would just have 9 games or something, right? So Malkin didn't score a couple games, but I still thought it is true in the playoffs. It is different. And I thought, but that's great, because that just means they're 1-1 in the series and Gino hasn't even scored yet. Like, this is going to be awesome. And then they're going to break out. And then I was questioning, how many game breakers do you have? And that is a thing that should decide in a series. Or one big factor is, like, you can expect this guy to score. He can't go this many games without scoring. So, on game 3, 4, imagine a 7-game series, 5, 6, this guy's going to score. Jared McCann's going to get his goal. Hornquist's going to get his goal. Jake Gensel's going to score in the series, obviously, right? Crosby going to score again. Malkin, Marlowe is on there, right? He's going to get a goal in the series. Like, it's like, so you just expect, how many is that? And then you put up against Montreal and you go, well, who have they got? And I thought they were pretty much tapped out with Kotkaniemi got his name. Hey, how about that?
What the heck is his name? Kotkaniemi or whatever.
Yeah, Koskinen geez, we're gonna get murdered here for the.
What is his name? I can't remember, and I really like him.
Getting 2 goals already. They're maybe tapped out. But then, of course, there was Tatar hasn't scored. Max Domi can do some stuff. You got Jonathan Drouin comes out, right? That's another big one I want to mention. Drouin just playing it. He killed them with Tampa a few years ago. Remember that? Jonathan Drouin was crazy, right? Against Pittsburgh, swept them. And then, did they sweep them? Anyway, but it killed them. Jonathan Drouin was a big part of that. And now here he is again, hitting them again. So I'll tell you what, Montreal's doing everything they should be doing. And I mean, imagine Petrie's shot. Come on. What was that?
That was gross. Who's stopping that?
Crazy. So I don't want to.
He had no chance.
He had no chance. He had a chance if he had just stood up and got tighter to the thing and didn't leave that hole. But what can you do? He was shot off his head. It's a perfect shot. But anyway, I just, before we move on from this, like I said, I don't want to go on all the time about it, but this is what I've been watching closely and care about. What do I expect? At the same time, I'm still not I'm only worried about Pittsburgh's attitude going forward. I did feel like you heard the commentators at the end saying, there's just no life on the bench. I can't see it. And I felt like that too. I almost felt like as one of the guys on the bench, I was one of those ones going, I hope somebody can do something. I hope just Sid just makes some crazy play, or Gino just beasts everybody and scores this goal and just gets us through this one. I felt like that was the attitude on the bench from everybody. And they're all just kind of like, instead of just, let's all pull together, let's all do this, like someone getting up on the bench, Hornquist getting up and going, what the is wrong with you? Let's go, whatever, anything at all. There was nothing like that. And I felt that. Now, if that continues somehow, it worries me. But I just can't imagine it happening with Sidney Crosby as a leader there. Like, this guy is just like, he wants it. They want it. So I'm saying I would still bet on Pittsburgh Penguins, because I still think there's a breakout game. I still think there's a game where stuff just happens for them because they just click, things happen. They might get one of those, but 7-game series, you get one of those. Can you get one in one game? I'm saying, bottom line, before I give it to you, I'm saying that if you just said, which can Pittsburgh beat the Montreal Canadiens 2 games in a row before Montreal wins again? Yeah, I'm good. So, but we'll see how Mike deals with the whole lineup and everything else and what they come out with. But, if they don't, then you know what? Montreal did play their thing as they had to, and well done. What do you got?
Sid's not losing on his birthday. That's when they play next Friday. It's not happening.
All right.
It's
Sidney
going
Crosby,
5.
Pardon me?
It's going 5 games.
It's going 5. Sid's not losing on his birthday, August 7th, 8-7 for 87. Maybe he'll put up 8 points or what? No. Anyway, we'll see. All right. Another thing that happened on your day. So your day was ruined. Like, just remember, this was a 3-1 lead for Pittsburgh. And they came back. So your day was ruined. And blew it. And then you had at least had Edmonton as a hope for you. And then you went in there and they had a lead. You tell me how you saw that one. What happened for you?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, that Edmonton was leading 3-2. They scored a goal with like 5 seconds left in the second period to make it 3-2 on the power play. And I thought, oh, good, it's the third period. Because it was like 1:30 in the morning. So I was like, I'm staying up for this. You better – that's what I said before. Like, it's hard to be an Oilers fan on the East Coast. But anyway, I was like, okay, it's worth it. They got it, yes. And I was like fading in and out. The third period was on in the background. I did not sleep well at all. And so I was like fading. I could hear things go, but I had no idea what was really happening. So I actually got up this morning thinking, well, they must have won. Like, they didn't lose in the third period. So I put my Oilers hat on and I went to work and I had my phone in my pocket, like just listening to the game and like checking it out every now and again. And then it was like 9 in the morning when I found out. Like, I was like, no, it's really, oh, what? No. And it's like, Chicago. I knew they knew how to win. I said it. Why? Why did they get Chicago?
All right. So, okay.
But,
then that's how it went down. Yeah, go ahead.
But they should win. But they should come back.
Okay. So you're still feeling the oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I mean, again, I just don't see how they're not, they can't just put it together. But it is that Chicago, man. They just know what they're doing. So anyway, so sorry. That was just a bad day for us, but and it's funny, we were going to record the podcast yesterday before those games started. We thought, well, let's just see these games and get these series up 2-1 and see what's going on, and then talk all about it. Well, we're talking about it. Oh man, it would have been a lot more hopeful coming out.
And I was already outraged because I was watching Nashville for Everett's sake, and I'm really kind of on board. I just want them to get to the next round. That's all I want. And then they were in a close game, and then that stupid head hit. Oh, no. So,
head hit. Don't go too far. I mean, you got your.
No,
Go ahead.
It was a dumb penalty.
Dumb penalty. Okay.
Yeah, Smith on Garland, neutral zone. Garland on his knees, dumped the puck in, and Smith finished his check and hit him in the head, and he got a 2-minute minor, which is it was a good call. He deserved the penalty, and then Taylor Hall. It was either 2-1 or 3-2 at the time. It was a 1-goal game at the time. And then Taylor Hall scored on the power play.
What a shot, too.
In the third period. It was awesome.
Oh, man.
And it's like...
Yeah,
Former Oiler.
Yeah, there's lots of former Oilers doing some crazy stuff. They're all over the place. Well done, guys. Anyway, so that that one too. That's one of those teams. The examples I said where sometimes I was like forgetting who was on the teams, and I was like, oh my god. But I did pick Arizona anyway originally in our picks. But then when I saw, I was like, oh yeah, it's like Hall's on there too, like on top of the Kessel and the boys. It's like holy crap, they're pretty good. So
That's another game, though. I'm looking at the first period. The shots were 12-1 for Nashville, and it was 1-0 Arizona.
there's something going on with these games, and hey, let's maybe why don't we? Yeah,
No, it's just ridiculous.
it is
Shouldn't be
ridiculous.
happening.
It shouldn't be. And you don't, I wonder, this is part of that no crowd stuff and the feeling of the game. Just that how does it get like that? There are times when it happens, but it's happening frequently that there's these lopsided shots and someone's just killing somebody and they can't just push back. So there's nothing outside pushing these players to get the pushback. So I don't know. How about on that feeling? You mentioned in one thing that one of our, I think it was after a show when we were talking afterward, and you were like, people keep calling it a tournament. People keep referring to a tournament. And then I was like, yeah, well, the Stanley Cup playoffs is a tournament. It's a 16-team tournament, but people don't often use that term, but they're using it a lot all over the place because of this. Because what we mentioned last time, it has a tournament feeling because all the players are in the bubble. They're hanging around. They see the other players. They can maybe go watch the other games. I don't know if I've seen any of that, though, the guys in the stands. Is that happening? But
Some of it, yeah.
okay. So you got that thing, that whole feel of like the tournament atmosphere. So it really does feel like an old school youth tournament, except it happens to be Field of Dreams. The best players, the legends come out and play in this little rink. I got your reference now. So that's what
It's
it
like
feels
Field
like.
of Dreams.
Okay. Help me out with but anyway, so are you feeling any of that stuff? Like still, is there anything that's occurred to you further about what we were talking about with the feel of the thing with the guys?
Well, at first,
in a rink?
I thought maybe the tournament feel was projecting itself onto the ice a little bit, where the games were kind of tame, really. They weren't, it was just really good hockey, but it seemed to be more skill oriented. There was a couple of little fights, which was okay. They were emotion driven, but all in all, there was like hardly any scrums after the whistle and things like that. It just seemed to be a different feel. And now it's like nothing is different on the ice. I mean, the atmosphere in the arena and all that, it is still weird, but when you watch the games now, it is on. It is physical. They are meeting in the corners now and on top of the goalie. There's a lot of fairly dangerous play going on, and as the I don't know if it was that quick sweep by the Rangers. It's like, why did they even bother to get clearance to come in the bubble for that? But maybe all of a sudden the teams are like, okay,
harsh on the Rangers.
We could go.
Jeez.
Well, maybe everyone else is like, geez, that could be us. We could go home. We got to do something about this now. And it's been super intense these last few games.
Yep. I never thought, when I brought up this idea of the I guess beer league atmosphere, I called it, that we kind of play in with no fans and all that. I never meant anything about the intensity. I wasn't really missing too much of that. And it is true, it's ramped up. But I just mean there's a couple subtle things that are different. Like I just felt like I was tuning in on another team at a tournament that I'd be at. And I was like, man, these guys are really good. Like that kind of thing. Excuse me. And then I remember just thinking so much on that kind of, they're just there playing and that kind of thing. And then I remember that the camera cut to Barry Trotz on the bench, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like Barry Trotz in the playoffs. It's like, oh, it's this NHL. Because I forgot. It just didn't feel like, I was like, is he? Oh, he's like, why is this guy there? Like it, it was almost like we don't have coaches on the bench or something. Maybe that, I don't know if it was that, but it was something that really, I mean, whatever that means, it's true. It happened to me. I was like surprised that he was there almost. Another one too is these celebrations, right? You see the celebrations. The boys are getting, they let it out and they kind of give a yeah, or they give this one to their boys and they whatever. But it's kind of how we would do when we score in a tight game in a beer league game, right? And we'd be like, you'd be pretty like pumped up, like, yeah, we got this and all that. But they're not like skating past their friends and like doing the slide and doing this one and then going up to the crowd. They're not jumping into the boards and the glass, right? There's not that energy where you're kind of going to people and going, yeah, let's go, right? And all that stuff. So they're really missing a little bit of stuff. So that again adds to this idea of we're just here and playing. Like it just feels like again that thing where it's not fully the NHL's thing. There's a different feeling watching it.
As a fan too, especially someone like me who tries to watch every game, it's like there's just so many games that it's like it's hard to even get tied into a particular series because as soon as the second period of this game's over, the first period of that game's starting, and it's like, oh, who do you watch and what's going on in this? It's like it's hard to really commit to a particular battle per se, like a series. I like the old days. I sound like an old man. Back in my day, but really, when we used to watch the playoffs, if you knew when game one was, you knew when every other game was because it was every second night. Boom, you knew it every second night. Your series was on. You were watching it. You knew who was when. Now it's like, well, they have 3 days off between games 1 and 2. Then there's a back-to-back, and these guys play at 4 this day, and then they play at 11:30 that day. It's like it's hard that way too. Like they're just putting the schedule out for some game 4s right after game 3s.
Yeah, I do not know what's going on today. Like I don't know who's playing today. Like I'm
Right.
gonna go figure it all out after this and try to check it all and see, arrange how I'm gonna watch it all and consume it all. But I don't know what's going on. Right?
It
I
was
do know the Leafs are
confusing.
playing.
Right. It was confusing to me when I realized there wasn't a game at 1:00 and I had to wait till 3:30 for a game to start, and it was like, wow, this is weird. And it was
Wow.
like, what did I used to do? I used to have to wait till 8:00. Like this is awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there's all of that. You did mention the sweep, and I wanted to just kind of just focus on it. We have our first sweep. What was going on in that? Because I mean, let's look again. I picked the Rangers. If you go back to our show where we picked them, I was like, just the Rangers, man. I don't know. I don't think that seed indicates you got the bread man, Hart Trophy candidate, and you got the deep goaltending, and you got all this, and they are not that team. And Carolina is good, but Rangers and Carolina the men there are awesome, like just solid. What happened in that?
Carolina is better than the Rangers. That's what happened.
Oh, that's oh, I see. That's like Jerry. I was saying to you another time where he said he does a bit. Jerry Seinfeld does a bit where he try to sit when there's nobody sitting in the good seats at a stadium. You sit down and try to sit in them, and then when somebody comes who owns the seats, you have to act like there's some kind of problem or some kind of misunderstanding. And he goes, "Oh, Oh, I see. These are very good seats. I have very bad seats. That's the misunderstanding." So that's the tone I heard. The Rangers are just better than them. The Carolina, excuse me. Yeah, Carolina is better than the Rangers. I got it.
And that's not to say the Rangers couldn't have done better. Game 1 was awesome, actually. There was a lot of hitting both ways. There was a lot of penalties. There was a lot of times where that series could have gone either way. But Carolina is just on right now. They are just in the zone. And a couple of top Rangers players that they needed to depend on just weren't there. There was a bit of disruption in their lineup with Lemieux coming back from suspension after 2 games and stuff. It was just Carolina being Carolina. That's how good they are. I don't think you could put the Rangers in that slot. You could have put any team in that slot. And the result in that particular round for those particular games would have been the same, I think.
Yeah, Svechnikov. Oh my God, I can't say that. Svechnikov. Oh my God. And we had a Detroit prospect, Svechnikov, but anyway, I still can't pronounce it. He was a beast. Aho this guy is going crazy. This guy, everybody was already talking about. He's superstar now. He is a superstar. You see this kid, man? And then he just goes and makes that play to I'll make it 4-2, end this thing. Like with this crazy play and sliding down and beating Lundqvist. Like, oh my God. So Carolina, they just beasted it. What can you do? Now, of course, I was also going to say that there's going to be this kind of thing too. There has to be something that's just not perfectly anything. Like Tampa got swept last playoffs. There's just something that's playoffs. People just catch on something and go. So things are not all going to be a battle and a perfect weight this way. Stuff's going to happen. And in this case, it could be just that they're just way better, but they just hit the right thing and blew through them.
What was it? It was like Tampa last year. Tampa got swept. and the Islanders swept Pittsburgh, I think, and then Carolina swept the Islanders. Like there was just a lot of things going on last year, and it was teams that had. It's not like there was just a few sweeps. It was teams that had swept other teams would go to another round and then get swept like they weren't even playing. Like it was, it, the parity is disgusting. And like you said, if you get in that one zone and you're feeling it and you catch on to that one thing about another team, they're just the players are just so smart now that they could just do it all the time and not make a mistake. It's crazy.
Yep. All right. Well, anyway, well, congratulations to Carolina. If that's your team, if Rangers are your team, our condolences. You're like me and my Red Wings. So we'll see you next season. What about this, Judge? You had something with the score clock. What was up with that?
That could have been good for the tournament field too, because it was kind of funny. There's pictures of the score clock, like at that, like the jumbotron, if you will, on the clock. And
people drink beer when they're watching hockey, Josh. Don't worry.
And it said like tonight's estimated attendance 0, and I just thought that was pretty funny. Like, or like usually they say like, you know, put your garbage on the side after the game, put your garbage away or drive safely or whatever. And it was this one. It was like, after the game, please stand up off of your couch safely.
Oh, did they do that?
Yeah, something like that.
I thought it was just something that was they just typed it in as 0 because they just have to have it up there and they did it. And then that was funny that they happened to do that, but they were making a joke. I see.
I think
and
so,
they made
yeah.
that joke. Hey, well done, guys. Have a fun with it. You know?
Unless I just fell for some prank, some Photoshop prank or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that that's what was going on. Either way, it's funny to think about.
Either way, it is funny. How about that? We'll give it that. I want to one more thing before we get out of here. I want to bring up your new podcast, Tough Call. Everybody, you know, Tough Call blog and Tough Call on Twitter has already been, and Facebook has already been popular for a few years anyway. You tell us what Tough Call is, right now, and then tell us what's up with the podcast.
Well, I've been covering the Department of Player Safety, their decisions since like 2015. I've been sort of cataloging what they do, and I've been looking at some of the incidents they cover and why they make the decisions they do. And that led me down a big rabbit hole into reading about like Rule 48 and what they were trying to accomplish when they brought that in, and why every other league in the universe had a head-checking rule in 2001 or earlier, and they didn't even get theirs till 2011, and they reluctantly brought it in. There was just a lot of things that didn't make sense. And then when Chara turnbuckled Pacioretty that time, several years ago, and I heard some of my friends talking about it, and in the lunchroom at work and stuff, and it's like, I want to have these conversations all the time. People, he didn't mean it, and he didn't mean to do it, and it was dirty. I'll get out. He should be banned for life. That was the kind of thing. So while there's the serious side of it and trying to figure out how we can make the game safer with Tough Call, it's also about the fun conversations I have on Twitter about some of the certain hits. And it's like, are you crazy? Why shouldn't they be allowed? I mean, we had that last night when we were watching the Montreal-Pittsburgh game, and Tanev hit Evans.
We've talked about it, on our chat, and I was like,
Yeah. So that's the kind of conversations I like to have all the time on social media. So usually I write a blog, and I'll say why I thought something was clean or dirty, and I would say if I was going to punish them, either a fine or a suspension, how many games I would give, and how many games I think the actual NHL Department of Player Safety would give, and people would comment on it. But for this playoffs, there's just too many games going on. It takes too long to write an article and get all the pictures done, and if I'm doing it, I'm going to take detailed screen grabs and show you why the guy's feet were the way they were, and whether his knees were bent, whether his feet were off the ice, and where his shoulder was, and things like that. That takes time. So I thought, well, for this playoffs with so much going on, if I see something like yesterday in that Nashville game, I'll start ranting about it and record myself and put it out there instead of having people read it.
Yeah, and what a great way to consume it now on audio format, right? Because way more convenient for you, as you said. And then a lot of people just they would love to have 15 minutes of you telling them about all the calls up to now, and see a take, and then maybe they can get involved and get upset at you. for what you say.
Oh, they do. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been called a lot of things. It's great.
So many people listening here they already know about Tough Call blog and Tough Call Twitter, but now you can consume it in audio format. And I think that's just great for people who, you're busy, they're busy, and they just want to listen to you. On this show, you and I just talk about whatever, right? We're talking about the fun stuff, things that occurred to us, something silly, something awesome, things that we think are great, just the way that we see and enjoy our hockey, and we miss talking about it. This gives us a chance. It pushes us to talk to each other more often too, which is really fun. So I'm having a great time with this, but and we don't talk about all that kind of stuff on the show. So we're not taking up, what did you think of that Tanev hit, and let's go through it. No. So if you want that stuff, go to Tough Call blog. You'll get the real pro Josh on there. And it's just great. So I'm looking forward to following Tough Call podcast on all the media, Apple, Spotify, whatnot. So I guess that's pretty much it, Josh. We got to go get to these games. What do you think? Like the Leafs are mid-game. What else?
I don't even know. I do. I was going to say I didn't know who won in the Washington game, but I do know that.
The Washington game. Who were they playing today?
Philadelphia.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's one of those reseeding games. Reseeding, who cares?
And then, of course, the late one. The one I'm really looking forward to tonight is the Flames Jets. But again, 11:30 start. I don't know how that's going to go, but
Flames and Jets. Why don't we just take that up? It'll be the final thing, and we'll put it out there before it starts, right? And see how we do next time. We'll come back and see. So we got Flames, Jets. Flames are leading 2-1. Isn't that right? Right.
I believe so. Yeah.
Anyway, so go ahead. What do you expect in this?
I expect the Jets to be out of the bubble by tomorrow at supper time.
Wow. And you had picked Calgary. I have to continue because I picked Winnipeg. So I'll say, make up my story for why they're going to win. Just Hallebuck's going to be a beast. He's going to steal one for them and then give them a game 5. And then we'll see when everybody's high stress, panicked, what happens in game 5. Hallebuck doing it. And, the other players just stepping up for Scheif and, just saying, screw you guys. We're not going out like that because of what you did. So anyway, that's what's going on. Or they're out of the bubble. We'll see. All right, then, guys, as always, let us know what you think. Tell us what you think of all these series. How are they going to pan out? What do you guys want us to talk about? What's going on that we missed? What's a story that we missed? What about your team? Tell us about your team. Get on this comments and get some conversation going amongst each other. That'll be a lot of fun. And in the meantime, Josh, go enjoy your hockey today. I'm going to go enjoy mine. Everybody else, enjoy the playoffs, and we'll see you guys next time.
Have you seen the device that Denise gave me today? That picture on Facebook.
I was going to ask you about that. What is going on with that thing? I saw that this morning and I just thought, yep, there it is. So she gave you that neck thing?
Well, as you know, our birthdays are coming up.
Yeah.
And so she bought a few small things and she decided now is as good a time as any for me to use this thing. Mm-hmm. It's for those of you watching, I'm sure we can post the picture.
It's there. It's there right now.
It's a device that goes around my neck and holds my phone out, so I don't have to walk around like this looking at my phone all day. Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to watch every minute, but I have stuff to do, and it's hard to do that when you have one hand all the time tied up. So
It is brilliant though too, especially too as she said you gave it to you early, because in these early rounds we're getting 5 or 6 games a day, right? It's busy. It might not need it as much if you only got after 8 teams left. So.
Now, to be fair to her, she actually got it for me because she felt bad when I was sitting down in the evening and she was watching TV and I was watching the games on my phone in the chair holding it like this. She thought I would use it maybe sitting down just to have it, but I tried it out today. We even took the dogs for a walk and the kids went for a bike ride and I walked along the road with that thing on my face. And it was Washington. I had to watch it.
This guy is serious. I'll tell you, and just for something, I know a lot of people here watching know us already, but if you don't, you might have got the idea that our birthdays are coming out. You might have thought, are these guys twins? What's going on? No, we are a year and 3 days apart. All right. But anyway, that thing is just, anyway, it gave me a great laugh. My wife, Han, was laughing, just like, what is, there he is. And anyway, well done, Denise. Well played. Big score for the birthday.